Since opening in 2012, Cooked & Co. has been a Scarsdale favorite for breakfast with creative twists. In 2018 came a new Cooked & Co., reopened after a year of renovations, with a full bar and dinner options, like these short ribs with tomato fondue and polenta. Let's see how co-owner and executive chef Herb Lindstrom makes this signature dish.
So the first step in making a delicious short rib dish is get your pan nice and hot, and I'm gonna season the short ribs with salt and pepper very generously. I'm just searing it, get a nice crust on it. Cooked & Co. started in my house at home. I had a little following of my own, so I started putting out a weekly menu, and I started to get some business. Then it grew to the point where I couldn't do it at my house anymore. Then I found this little spot. It started as this little mom and pop place, and we wanted to make, like, you know, just have fun cooking, cook whatever we wanted, no set menu, put it in the case. It was like an extension of my kitchen at home. Well, Melissa I worked with for over 20 years, and we always complement each other. We always work as a team with every dish. Like right down to the prep people or the dishwashers, if they have a dish that their mother has made them or something like that, I'll let them cook it, and we'll see if it goes. And a lot of my most popular dishes kind of came about that way. And now I'm gonna make the braising liquid. So I'm gonna start with the same pan, but I wiped out the dirty oil because I don't want that bitterness. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil and a little bit of bacon just give it a little bit of smoky flavor. So now I'm gonna add the garlic and the shallots. Just added onions. Then I'm gonna add my root. I have carrots. Parsnips also add a little natural sweetness. And I have my celery. So I'm gonna add my bouquet garni at this point. It's just thyme, rosemary, bay leaf, and parsley. And saute with the veg, and it's gonna start bringing out the aromatics in the bouquet, just as just another added depth of flavor. Okay, at this point I'm gonna add my tomatoes. Again, gonna help with the consistency of the finished sauce. So for my short ribs, I like to add 2 kinds of wine. Today I'm gonna use a Malbec. It has a lot of depth. And then I add port, again, for sweetness. I like the sauce to be a little sweet. So this is the start of my braising liquid, and it's mostly wine. That's what makes this dish so delicious. And then I'm gonna add some chicken stock, just for a little more flavor. All right, so now this is come to a boil. I'm gonna put the liquid over my short ribs. All right, so now that it's covered in the liquid, I'm gonna cover this with foil. It's gonna go in my combi oven, which combi oven is basically an all-in-one oven. It steams, it roasts, it bakes. This is gonna cook for about 3 hours. And then while this is cooking, I'm gonna prepare the tomato fondue for the dish. I'm gonna start this with sweating my garlic first in a little bit of oil. Fondue is basically a communal dish that people share. Now I'm gonna add my onions and my bouquet garni. I'm gonna add my tomatoes with the liquid included. I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of sugar. I'm gonna take a piece of parchment paper. So if I don't put the parchment paper, it's just gonna burn on top. This is gonna prevent it from burning, and it's gonna allow me to cook out all the liquid. So at this point, I'm gonna put it in a 350 oven for approximately 2 hours until all the liquid cooks out. When the liquid cooks out, I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna put it in a bowl. I'm gonna finish it with some really good extra virgin olive oil, some basil. I'm gonna season it with salt and pepper again until it's right season. Okay, so now I'm gonna start the polenta with a little bit of oil and some shallots. Now I'm gonna add chicken stock, and I add cream because what's not to love about heavy cream? Okay, so once this comes to a simmer, I'm gonna slowly start adding the polenta and whip it at the same time. So the short rib dish is obviously a dinner dish, but we also serve brunch on the weekends, and one of our most popular signature dishes is Cinnabon waffle. My daughters and I, we're big breakfast fans. We're just Cinnabon fanatics. Okay, at this point, I'm gonna add a generous amount of Parmesan cheese, some whole butter, and some fresh chopped parsley. So that's everything that goes in the polenta. I'm just gonna bring it up to the right consistency, and I'm gonna pour it in a pan so it sets up, and it has to cool off before I can cut it because it'll be too soft. I cut it, and then at that point, I sear it on a flat top. I put the tomato fondue on top, that goes in the oven. And then I'm gonna take the short rib out of the oven. I strain the jus. I'm gonna pull out the meat, and I'm gonna let the sauce reduce until it's the perfect consistency. And now I'm ready to plate my dish. That's the polenta with the tomato fondue on top. It's gonna go on my plate. I'm gonna throw this in there one more time to get a nice coat. So what I want my customers to feel when they come here is that they're at my house and they're in my extended dining room. I'm gonna take this, finish it with a little butter. I like when people come here and they tell me they feel like they're not in Westchester County, they might be in the city or Brooklyn or something like that. And that's like one of the highest compliments I could get. This is just a very reduced version of the sauce. And then I'm gonna garnish this with just some frizzled shallots that we always have on hand in this place because I love shallots. And some fresh thyme. Voila. I am Herb Lindstrom, executive chef and co-owner of Cooked & Co. Scarsdale. Thank you for letting me show you how to make our signature dish.